According to the National Electrical Code, specifically Article 352, it is generally permissible for conductors from different circuits to share a conduit under certain conditions. Article 352 covers the use of electrical metallic tubing, also known as EMT, and provides the regulations for its installation and use. Several factors dictate whether this is allowed and how it must be implemented. The most important considerations are voltage, frequency, conduit fill, and proper identification. Firstly, the circuit sharing a conduit must operate at the same voltage level and frequency. This is a fundamental requirement to minimize the risk of insulation breakdown and potential hazards. If the circuits of different voltage levels, such as a 120-volt circuit and a 240-volt circuit, they should not be run in the same conduit. Secondly, the total number of conductors within the conduit must not exceed its allowable fill capacity. The NEC specifies the maximum number of conductors permitted in a given conduit size to ensure adequate heat dissipation and prevent damage to the conductor's insulation. Conduit fill calculations are based on the cross-sectional area of the conductors and the internal area of the conduit. To determine the allowable fill, refer to Chapter 9, Table 4 and Table 5 of the NEC, which provides detailed information on conduit fill percentages and conductor dimensions. For example, if you are using a 1/2-inch EMT conduit, the allowable fill percentage for more than 2 conductors is typically 40%. This means that the total cross-sectional area of all conductors in the conduit must not exceed 40% of the conduit's internal area. You must account for all conductors, including phase conductors, neutral conductors, and equipment grounding conductors. Ignoring the conduit fill requirements can lead to overheating, insulation degradation, and potentially electrical fires. Thirdly, the conduit installation must comply with all applicable sections of Article 352 and other relevant NEC articles. This includes proper support and securing of the conduit, using approved fittings and connectors, and ensuring the conduit is adequately grounded. The NEC specifies the maximum spacing between conduit supports to prevent sagging and mechanical damage. For EMT, supports must generally be placed every 10 feet and within 3 feet of boxes, cabinets, and other termination points. Proper grounding is essential to provide a low impedance path for fault currents, which helps protect against electrical shock and equipment damage. All metal conduits must be effectively grounded by bonding them to the equipment grounding conductor system. Additionally, when running multiple circuits in the same conduit, it is crucial to group and identify the conductors at all termination points. This helps prevent confusion and ensures that electricians can easily identify and work on the correct circuits. The NEC requires that conductors be identified by color coding, marking tape, or other approved means. For example, you can use different colored wires for each circuit, such as black for the hot conductor of one circuit and red for the hot conductor of another circuit. The neutral conductors should also be clearly identified, typically with white or gray insulation. Furthermore, junction boxes should be used to connect conductors from different circuits. Junction boxes provide a safe and convenient location to make splices and terminations. They also help to protect the conductors from physical damage and environmental factors. The NEC specifies the minimum size of junction boxes based on the number and size of conductors entering the box. The box must be large enough to provide adequate space for making connections and to prevent overcrowding. When selecting conductors for use in a conduit, it is important to consider their ampacity, which is the maximum current carrying capacity of the conductor. The NEC provides ampacity tables that list the allowable ampacities for various conductor sizes and insulation types. The ampacity of a conductor is affected by factors such as the ambient temperature, the number of conductors in the conduit, and the type of insulation. If multiple current-carrying conductors are run in the same conduit, the ampacity of each conductor must be derated to account for the increased heat generated. The NEC provides derating factors that must be applied to the conductor ampacity based on the number of conductors in the conduit. For example, if there are 4 to 6 current-carrying conductors in a conduit, the ampacity of each conductor must be derated to 80% of its original value. This derating ensures that the conductors do not overheat and that the insulation is not damaged. In the specific scenario of running two appliance circuits, each using 12/3 cable with a breaker tie in one conduit, and then running circuits for a refrigerator and a bathroom receptacle in another conduit, the following considerations apply. For the appliance circuits, using 12/3 cable means each circuit has a hot conductor, a neutral conductor, and a grounding conductor. With two such circuits, you will have a total of 6 conductors in the conduit. Ensure the conduit is sized appropriately to accommodate 6 12 American wire gauge conductors, considering the allowable fill percentage. Also, ensure the breaker tie is properly installed to simultaneously disconnect both hot conductors of the multi-wire branch circuit. For the refrigerator and bathroom receptacle circuits, similar considerations apply. Ensure the conduit is sized correctly based on the number and size of conductors. Furthermore, ground fault circuit interrupter, also known as GFCI, protection is typically required for bathroom receptacles and may be required for refrigerator circuits depending on local codes. It is always advisable to consult with a qualified electrician or local electrical inspector to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. Electrical codes can vary depending on the jurisdiction, and interpretations may differ. An electrical inspector can provide specific guidance and clarification based on the local requirements. When working with electrical systems, safety is paramount. Always to energize circuits before working on them, use appropriate personal protective equipment, and follow safe work practices. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. In summary, running conductors from separate circuits in the same conduit is permissible under the NEC, provided that the circuits are of the same voltage and frequency, the conduit fill is within the allowable limits, the installation complies with all applicable codes and standards, and the conductors are properly identified and terminated. Always consult the latest edition of the NEC and local codes for specific requirements, and seek guidance from a qualified professional when needed. When calculating the conduit fill, remember to include all conductors within the conduit. This encompasses the hot, neutral, and grounding wires for each circuit. The NEC provides tables in Chapter 9 that specify the dimensions of various conductors. Use these tables to determine the cross-sectional area of each conductor. Add up the cross-sectional areas of all conductors to obtain the total conductor area. Then, refer to the conduit fill tables in Chapter 9 to determine the maximum allowable conductor fill for the specific type and size of conduit you are using. The conduit fill tables provide the maximum percentage of the conduit's cross-sectional area that can be occupied by conductors. Ensure that the total conductor area does not exceed this limit. If it does, you will need to use a larger conduit size or reduce the number of conductors in the conduit. In addition to the conduit fill requirements, it is also important to consider the ampacity derating factors when running multiple current-carrying conductors in the same conduit. As mentioned earlier, the NEC requires that the ampacity of each conductor be derated to account for the increased heat generated by the other conductors. The derating factors are based on the number of current-carrying conductors in the conduit. Refer to NEC Table 310.15. B3. To determine the appropriate derating factors. For example, if you have 4 to 6 current-carrying conductors in a conduit, you must derate the ampacity of each conductor to 80% of its original value. This means that if a conductor is normally rated for 20 amps, its ampacity would be reduced to 16 amps when installed in a conduit with 4 to 6 current-carrying conductors. Be sure to select conductors with an ampacity that is sufficient for the load they will be serving, even after applying the derating factors. Another important consideration when running multiple circuits in the same conduit is the proper identification of the conductors. The NEC requires that all conductors be clearly identified by color coding, marking tape, or other approved means. This helps to prevent confusion and ensures that electricians can easily identify and work on the correct circuits. The typical color code for 120-volt circuits is black for the hot conductor, white for the neutral conductor, and green for the grounding conductor. For 240-volt circuits, the hot conductors are typically black and red, the neutral conductor is white, and the grounding conductor is green. You can also use marking tape to identify the conductors. For example, you can wrap a piece of colored tape around each conductor near its termination point. Be sure to use a color that is easily visible and that is not used for any other circuit. In addition to color coding and marking tape, you can also use wire labels to identify the conductors. Wire labels are small adhesive labels that can be attached to the conductors. They typically include information such as the circuit number, the voltage, and the load that the circuit serves. Wire labels can be particularly useful in complex electrical systems with many circuits. When running multiple circuits in the same conduit, it is also important to use proper wiring techniques. This includes using approved connectors and fittings, making sure that all connections are tight and secure, and protecting the conductors from physical damage. Use only connectors and fittings that are listed for use with the type of conduit and conductors you are using. Make sure that all connections are tight and secure to prevent loose connections, which can cause overheating and electrical fires. Protect the conductors from physical damage by using conduit bushings and other protective devices. Conduit bushings are used to protect the conductors from abrasion as they enter and exit the conduit. They are typically made of plastic or metal and are installed on the end of the conduit. Also, keep in mind that certain types of equipment require dedicated circuits. For example, the NEC requires that refrigerators be supplied by an individual branch circuit. This means that the refrigerator cannot share a circuit with any other appliances or equipment. The reason for this requirement is that refrigerators typically draw a large amount of current when they start up. If the refrigerator shares a circuit with other appliances, it could overload the circuit and cause the breaker to trip. Bathroom receptacles also have specific requirements. The NEC requires that all bathroom receptacles be ground fault circuit interrupter, also known as GFCI, protected. GFCI protection is designed to protect people from electrical shock. If a ground fault occurs, the GFCI will trip the circuit and cut off the power. This can prevent serious injury or even death. GFCI protection is also required for receptacles in other areas of the home, such as kitchens, garages, and outdoor locations. When installing electrical wiring, it is always important to follow the manufacturer's instructions. The manufacturer's instructions provide detailed information on how to install the wiring correctly and safely. Failure to follow the manufacturer's instructions can void the warranty on the wiring and can also create a safety hazard. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, it is always best to hire a qualified electrician to perform the work. A qualified electrician has the knowledge and experience to install electrical wiring safely and correctly. They can also help you to ensure that your electrical system complies with all applicable codes and regulations. Remember to always disconnect the power before working on any electrical wiring. This will help to prevent electrical shock. Use a voltage tester to verify that the power is off before you begin working. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. This will help to protect you from injury. Work in a well-lit area. This will help you to see what you are doing and avoid mistakes. Take your time and be careful. Rushing through the job can lead to mistakes and accidents. If you are not sure how to do something, ask for help from a qualified electrician.